With no discussions, all in favor say aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Did you get that, Ms. Pittman?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Item B on your agenda is to adopt ordinance number 1115, accepting the public dedication from Four Docks LLC of a sewer main, including all manholes and other apparatuses, with a minimum of 1 year warranty on all workmanship and materials and easement under and over and across the sewer main as shown on the.
You have to adopt the special session too. Sorry. Go back to A.
Did you skip March 8 minutes?
Special session.
Okay, well, let's go back. I need to move to adopt the minutes of the special council regular session on March the 8th. Oh, I didn't see that one down there.
So
Is there any
moved.
discussion? So moved by Mr. Wayne Edwards, seconded by
Seconded.
Ms. Bloxham. Are there any discussions? Being no discussions, all in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Sorry, my first mistake of today. So we're going to go back to B where I left off to showing the sewer main on the attached plat. The plats are behind you, put into city specifications. Do I have a motion on that?
Mayor, what district is that in?
That's in Ms. Walker's district, I believe.
Where in my district?
You're in A, and it comes down Pennsylvania, and then takes a left and goes back to Homer Road and back down the boulevard. So
I'm in B.
I'm sorry, I meant B. I'm sorry, I meant B.
Okay. I move to adopt ordinance number 1115, according to public dedication from Four Documents LLC of a sewer main, including manholes and other appearances, at a minimum of 1 year warranty on all workmanship and materials and easements under and over and across the sewer main as shown in the attached plot as presented.
Motion made by Mr. Wayne Edwards.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Michael Roy. Are there any discussions? Being no discussions, all in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, there being none, it passed unanimously. Mr. Fleur, we would like your financial report, please, sir, for February. And might I say welcome back?
Thank you.
Welcome back again.
Temporary. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, first I would like to congratulate the newly elected council members or the re-elected council member and wish them wisdom and good judgment for the rest of their term.
Thank you.
Following the guidelines, and if I'm too long tonight, just going to cut the micro and I'm going to go. Following the guidelines of the agreed upon procedures, the accounting department provided to each council member and the mayor the monthly budget report. The report looks a little bit different from the report you previously received. I decided to give you that report. First of all, it gives you a better overview of each line item. Specifically, the last column, it says percentage use of the budgeted amount. You see each line item where we stand, as well as the department totalizer, as well as the overall for the fund. The budget report shows you the major funds, including the general fund, water and electric fund, fund number 03 is the sales tax fund, and 07 is the sewer plant sales tax fund. If you're going to have a look, the first look, it appears that we are doing good. The target number is 41.6% for 5 months. And you see that in each department, specifically on the expense side, we are under the budgeted amount or close to the budget amount, which is good. The general fund shows that we are over the budgeted amount, but at the second look, you have to understand that in these numbers, specifically on the revenue side, they are numbers which are going to go back to the previous fiscal year. For an example, money received for the airport, the reimbursement money goes back to the previous year. And if you're going to look on the general fund on first page 1, you're going to see 1.7 million received for the airport. That number goes way down, probably to 1.1 million. So the numbers are changing. The adjustments will come as soon as the audit is complete. The water and electric fund, the revenue is way below budget. Reason, low water usage, electricity usage below what we expected. That will change with the summer months. But in this case, also the Department 36, the steam plant, the bills from SWEPCO until February are below the expected amounts. So expenses below budget, revenue is below budget. So it's still a fair game, so to speak. Now, part of the financial report is also the monthly sales tax figure. Amount collected this month in the month of March for the month of February is $467,000. That figure does not include the TIF districts. The TIF districts are a small amount, $8,000. I'm not counting the TIF districts in that respect for an overall view. Previous year collected, let me repeat the number again, 477,000 collected. Previous year, 449,000. The budget amount is 517,000. Last month, we had a collection of 496,000. So we are $22,000 below last month. The collection this month includes $46,000 delinquent taxes. Looking at the total after 5 months, the sales tax collection is still $165,000 above the budgeted amount, thanks to a tremendous amount in the month of January, with 700 and some thousand. But still, you have to look that this is the second month in a row where we're below the budgeted amount. Hopefully it does not continue that way, because part of the revenue for the city is the sales tax. Now, other financial information. Cash in the bank, 17.95 million, compared to 17.72 for the same time period a year ago. The 17.95 million will change next month quite a bit. Reason for that is the huge electricity bill the city had to pay, to be exact, 3.5 some million for SWEPCO. The city did not use the offer from SWEPCO to pay it over a period of time because the interest rate, the FERC interest rate we have to apply to, the federal regulation, was 3.42%, which would have made over a year $80,000. And we avoided that. The result of that is we will draw down the cash of the city. The majority of the 3.6 million or 3.5 some million was paid out of the cash accounts from general fund and water and electric fund. But we also had to go into the reserves and had to cash in 2 CDs in the total amount of roughly $800,000. The goal is, after recovering, and I'm sure everybody read the newspaper about the SWEPCO bill and it's spread out to 26 months, the goal is to refill these CDs and bring the money back into the individual funds. That is the goal. So I expect to see.
Excuse me, go back to what you just said about the 26 months. I missed, I want to make sure.
Maybe I read it wrong, but I believe it was said or mentioned in the paper that the recovery of the electricity will be spread out over a period of 26 months.
Okay. It was
Because
mentioned.
normally the bill is through the PCA put on to the residents' electricity bill. So in order to avoid hardship and ask for tremendous, huge amounts in the electricity bills, and I assume that was discussed with you all, that it was spread out over a period of time, not to recover everything at once.
Well, no, we really didn't have a discussion about it, but it was mentioned to us. But why such a long period of time?
Because the residents couldn't pay.
26 months, though? I mean, that seems too long.
So does
We didn't want to,
It
I mean,
seems to
there's
me-
already people, so many people on fixed incomes.
I understand. But 26 months?
What would your,
It seems like they would be paying more over the 26-month period of time than they would if they paid whatever it was.
what would your suggestion be?
I mean, I just don't see why it has to be stretched out for 26 months. I would need to see the numbers on that and how much the customers are actually paying and how much they would save if they paid it. That just seems like too long of a period of time.
As far as I remember, Russell Poole, the superintendent who is calculating the PCA, was saying that for the current months on the bills, it was about $16, something like that, more than what it would be.
If you take it over the 26 months?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is basically, it's $100,000 every month recalculated into the, because the normal SWEPCO bill is on an average 1 million a month.
Okay.
So the 3.6 million leaves 2.6 million left. 26 months is $100,000 each month calculated into the bill,
Right.
which is about $16 a resident.
Hey, Mike.
And so the citizens are not paying anything else on top of that?
No.
That's what, I guess I don't understand how it would cost the citizens more money by splitting it up over 26
No,
months.
there's
Would
no
there?
interest calculated,
right.
there's nothing on.
So we
It's
just,
strictly the number.
okay, so that, was kind of discussed about the 26 months so that it would give some ease to the citizens to be able to pay that bill more easily than if we just put it all in there at one time.
Yeah,
So like a,
that was the purpose, to have not such a big burden on residents, because, yeah, you can slap $1 million into, but the $1 million makes a huge amount, specifically when you have in the summer months higher utility bills anyway.
right.
So that was and it was published in the newspaper article, so.
Mike, I got one question on that. The average PCA is about 9 cents.
It's around.
No, he said it was 4 cents.
No,
That's what we were told, that the
that's-
average is about 4 cents.
That's not, the PCA is a little different than what you're talking about. The people pay about what they pay a kilowatt, and the PCA is different numbers.
Yeah, the PCA is normally somewhere around 8.
And last month it was 11.
8 cents plus the.
Yes, sir. Correct.
The electricity rate is, which is normally 3.2, 3.5 cent.
Yeah, right at 4 cents. And
Right.
if I don't have my number in front of me, but I'm thinking if we collected everything at one time, it would have been 33 cents.
Did we have a discussion about this? I didn't think we did.
So we're increasing the amount on the kilowatts? Is that how the bill is gonna be?
No, the PCA.
I mean, but what is the kilowatts? How much are we paying per kilowatt?
The city is, the city is collecting 3.5 cents for the city. The rest is the SWEPCO bill, which is in the PCA.
CA. It's a real complicated animal.
I don't understand.
And normally, if you look at the PCA over the different months, it's somewhere around 11 cent total.
Right.
Correct.
So, any further questions on that subject?
Yeah, you got mine. Mhm.
Okay, good. Further on, the city have started with the investments for the safety traffic enforcement program, so-called STEP program. The city purchased the 2 designated vehicles, and at the moment they are in the shop for microphones, radar, and everything we put in. So it will still take a little bit before the program itself starts. The program is designed to put, first of all, safety on our streets. And if you violate that safety, you're going to pay a fine. That fine will be divided between the PD, the police department, the judge's office, or the
Ward Marshal.
Ward Marshal, and
How much
the
is
city
that?
of Minden. After the city has recovered his expenses, means we're going to get first the money back for the vehicles, which is the overall total amount, about 134,000 in the first year. In the second year, because we do not purchase in the second year additional vehicles, only every 2 years. So the second year it was 85,000, 87,000. On an average, roughly 110,000. The city will recover that amount through the fines, and then the money will be split up. In the PD used for special purchases, special equipment, and so on. The board marshal gets some money for his service, and then the rest goes to the city.
To kind of clarify that The second year, the 80-something thousand dollars, that's for maintenance of the vehicle and things like that. We'll recoup that first up front, and then we'll move forward. So we're already having in our account to maintain the vehicles and that insurance and all that.
The total expected revenue coming out of that, based on the test drive you all did, and if you calculate this up, it should be around $1.7 million
Per year.
per year.
Right.
Yeah. Now, sooner
And
or
then-
later, the word goes around that, watch out, the flashlight is going. Naturally, it goes a little bit back, but I assume the chief is not sitting every day at the same spot. So,
So in essence, the net effect
Yeah.
of that money is great to the city.
right, right. And it would help to go on further down the road with that money. Bids for the RFP for the recreation complex concessionaire will be open tomorrow morning at 9:30. I have not received any bids, envelopes, whatever you want to call it.
You haven't received
So
any?
far, nobody has turned in anything.
And what's the deadline on that?
Tomorrow morning,
Tomorrow.
9:30.
And if you don't receive any,
9:30, no bids received, we can go ahead and
okay,
put it out again.
and then at that time, we'll get the opportunity to readdress what's actually written into the proposal.
If you remember right, Mr. Edwards, I offered everybody to give me a red line to work it in. I did not receive any corrections on what was out at that date. I did not write it. It came from the recreation center.
I got you on that, but if you don't receive any applicants for it, we have an opportunity to go back and address some issues that's in it.
We can address it, we can change it. We have to advertise it again.
Good.
And go through the same process. The only negative side is the ball season starts on the 15th, basically. And at the moment, there is nobody to sell any food or drinks, at least not to my knowledge.
Yep, we've got, food trucks wanting to come down there, but everybody knows the situation on that. We don't have an ordinance.
Okay, further on, the budget process for the fiscal year 21-22 will also start tomorrow with budget requests from each department to be turned into the city clerk's office. I also have asked the council members, and other than from Mr. Edwards, I have not received any other wish lists.
Yeah, I'll be emailing mine this evening.
That's fine.
We need to get together on that because I'm,
I told the mayor why I excluded you in that respect, not because, for other reasons, that's all.
understand.
Since I'm back, I looked at the budget. Nothing really has changed. The revenue side is still short on money, so to speak, for all the wishes and the necessities we would have to undertake. The budget will be tight, very tight.
Well, let me ask you one question. Do you have a number for the estimated revenue for next year?
No, sir. It's after 5 months, it is too early.
Too early.
Usually, when we start the budget process, we're going to go with the wish list, we're going to go with the salaries, then we have a first number, then we're going to look in months of May, basically, May, June, we're going to look what the budget is doing after 6 months. Basically, 6 months is my goal to look at. And then you have a couple summer months, because everything depends on water and electric. That's the lifeline for the city. If there is low revenue, then the red pencil, we're gonna go through that wish list.
Right.
And you have exercised that program by cutting back and cutting back and cutting back, and at the end, nothing is left. So tomorrow morning we start, and for at least receiving wish lists. And then there is a date set where the mayor and the city clerk will talk to the individual departments to find out, is it really necessary? Or is that a dream you have, that you want to have a red Ferrari, right? For everybody's understanding, we received
They don't understand that joke.
we
so.
received the title back for the fire truck. It's paid off. We received the fire truck, and it said FER red. And at the moment, we thought it was a red Ferrari all of a sudden. I think the mayor called the chief.
Well, the chief, it actually mailed to the police department, and they asked me if I'd ordered a red Ferrari. Well, no. So we,
So it was the red fire truck. Okay.
And I know this may be outlined, but in our budgeting process, we're going to look at leases pretty heavily, because I know at one of the council meetings, we wasted, in my opinion, quite a bit of money on a lease. And so I just want to make sure we look at that area heavily.
Mr. Roy, the process is, wish list comes in, it's been put to paper, discussed with the department heads, and then we have workshops with the council,
Right.
with the department head present, and it's a back and forth. What do you think about this? Every council member can bring in their expertise in any field. And after 2 council workshops, we should be at the level where we can say, okay, this is the new budget.
Right.
That's the process. So there is enough opportunity. And if you have something between where you say, well, last night I was sitting at home and I was looking at that, and you come in, either talk to the mayor or come to me and say, well, what about this and this, and that's fine too.
Right.
You can do that too.
Yeah.
Michael, just one last question. I know there's a possibility we're gonna get some money from the federal government. That money not gonna be built into the actual budget you're working on right now, is it?
we were in I'll answer that question. We were in a phone conference the other day saying what we could spend it for and couldn't spend it for, and they haven't got all the regulations quite drawn up yet, and we really don't know the exact dollar amount that we're going to be getting. It's, I don't want to announce that, but if any council members want to come talk to me and Michael about that, we'll discuss it.
No, what I was concerned about,
There is no money or any amount at the moment which would need to be adjusted in the current budget.
okay, but where I'm going with this, when we get that infusion of cash, I would like to see, I'm just talking to the mayor, a workshop on that.
You will.
So
and-
that we'll know where every dime of that money is actually going.
Yes, sir. We get it in two different times. And we have actually until not April, but 2024, I believe, to pay it back. And you have to show them exactly where every penny goes, and they're very clear on what it can be spent on. And we can absolutely workshop it. We're not just gonna, go on a spending spree.
Does that answer your question, sir? Did that answer your question?
It's close enough.
Okay, good.
So Michael, what are your hours since you're just part-time now?
My hours?
Yeah.
I work 3 times a week from 7:30 to 12:30 or 1 o'clock.
What days?
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. If I have something to do, then I skip Wednesday and come in on Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But the goal is 3 days a week in the morning.
So we need to get our wish list in tomorrow before you leave.
Please. But if it is 4 o'clock, it's fine too.
Okay.
Yeah? I assume that it will be tomorrow. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, the last thing I have is the audit for fiscal year 2020 is still in process. The auditors were forced to request a 90-day extension. The accounting department is working diligently to comply with the auditor's requests.
Will we meet that 90-day?
I hope not.
Sir,
I hope not.
you think you'll,
I would like to hear the auditor's report, I would say, in the July council meeting. She always needs 3-4 weeks in order to prepare her report, her oral report she always gives to the council.
right.
Did they get an extension, Michael, because on account of tax season? Did that audit receive an extension from the government?
It was, we had
Depending on what SWEPCO charge us, it's gonna turn on what it.
city internal issues.
Okay.
Put it this way.
No, but I mean from the state. Did they give us extra time?
It's approved.
Okay, great.
They approved the 90
Yeah,
days.
they approved, because the auditor is requesting, they approved.
Yeah, but because IRS extended all of
Put the money
us,
back on.
that was, okay,
So I haven't heard anything otherwise,
okay.
and we've been working
Diligently.
hand in hand with the auditors. And I hope that pretty soon we can say, okay, we have the final conversations with the auditors and going to go over a couple of things which are not, or which were not correct or whatsoever. But I hope she will give us her oral report in the July council meeting. That's all what I have for tonight. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask.
Mr. Fleur, I appreciate you giving us an updated and thorough report of our finances.
Sorry that it took longer than probably the council.
Well, that's fine. Okay, that doesn't need a motion or anything, so Chief?
Go ahead, I won't go over that.
I'll drag it out of the way. Mayor, council members, first of all, I'd like to also congratulate Michael Roy on his victory and Mr. Edwards on yours.
Thank you.
We work together, and I look forward to continue to work with you, and I'm looking forward to working with you, Mr. Roy.
Same, Chief.
Month of February, we collected $8,433.50 to city fund. $90 went to the crime lab, $315.50 went to city court, $300 to the marshal's office, $445 to the Indian Defender's office, $20 to the clerk's fund, $75 to the Ware Center, $18 to the law enforcement, or Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement, $117 to off-duty witness fees, $30 to the court case management information system, $45 to the Louisiana Traumatic Head and Spinal Cord Injury Trust Fund, $100 to the Judicial Building Fund, $4.50 to the Judicial Education Fund, totaling $9,993.50.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Cropper before I ask for a motion? Okay, do I have a motion to accept the police report?
Move to accept the police report for February of 2021 as presented.
Motion made by Mr. Roy, seconded.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Bradford. Is there any discussion? No discussion. All in favor of his report, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Chief. Would you like to give us your oral report now?
Got a few things. The month of March, when the police department worked 25 accident reports. We received 677 calls for service, made 98 arrests. We issued 88 citations. We made 150 incident reports. We had 124 arrest warrants were issued, and we actually served 103 warrants during the month of March. And I was going to update y'all a little bit on STEP. Michael pretty much covered everything. We do have vehicles in. The ghost markings is on both of them. They're at Harrington's where they're putting the equipment in, the radios and the different equipment. There's going to be a holdup on the car cameras. It's going to take a while to get them in, but we're not going to put a start off because of that, because we're going to make sure we got the body cameras on it and use the body cameras until we get the car cameras in. We got a meeting April 16th with DOTD in reference to building. They're absolutely not going to cut that wire medium divider. But we are looking into maybe building a pad where we can get off road and kind of outside. But that will be based on what they come up with on the 16th meeting. The electronic license, the readers are not in. I think Jeff has probably a more updated date on when those might arrive. We're not sure on those, but we're kind of shooting for a start date of, somewhere around the first to the middle of May. That's kind of where we're at. That's all.
Appreciate it, Chief. You want to kind of give us a little update on how the Easter holidays went?
Easter holidays was relatively okay. Other than we had a couple of gatherings on the weekend. We didn't have any problems that I know of, but one of them, we had to kind of shut them down because the music had gotten loud over on 4th Street. But other than that, it was relatively pretty good week.
Good, good. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And thank you, Chief, for yesterday.
Okay, that's no problem.
Okay, we're going to move to, Mr. Smart, did you have a report? I'm going to let you do your report.
So I was just going to give the council and mayor update on the occupational license since bringing them in-house. We sent out a total of 600 notifications for businesses to notify that they need an occupational license. Out of that 600, 380 have been turned in. So around about 200 still need to be turned in. And so far, we've collected around about $255,000. And so our next step is going to be issuing cease and desist letters to those businesses who haven't turned in those licenses, because they have been notified 2 other prior times through the mail. Any questions? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Philip. Next, we're going to move to public comments. Do we have any public comments in the audience? Marshall, is there anybody outside?
There is not.
There is not? Okay, thank you. We're going to move to our council comments, and we're going to start with Mr. Edwards.
Oh, first of all, I want to thank the people in District A for pointing me to this position. I won't let you down. And second, I want to thank you, Chief, for both times I called, you guys responded, and I had the opportunity to talk to them on the scene, and they were very, very professional. Instead of escalating up, they escalated down, and they were able to talk to some of the people in the park, and it worked out quite well.
Ms. Walker.
Just want to say, you weren't appointed, you were elected to District A. You said you were appointed, so you were elected.
Thank you.
Okay, so welcome, and welcome to you, Mr. Roy. being elected to District D, and I look forward to serving the rest of the term with both of you. And Chief, again, thank you.
Mr. Bradford?
Chief, thank you. You know what I'm talking about. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Edwards for being back with us. And Mr. Roy, I'd like to congratulate you for being back with us.
Thank you, sir.
And that's pretty much all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Bradford.
Yeah.
Mr. Roy?
Well, first off, I'd like to thank, as Mr. Edwards did, the people in District D for allowing me to serve again. I served back in '99, and as then I'll do now, I'll do the best of my ability. You know, I may not please everybody, but I'll do is my dead level best for what's best for this city. You know, I'll work diligently with everybody here, but most of all, I thank God for allowing me to serve here, because without Him, none of us would be here doing the jobs that we're doing today. And if I can help anybody along the way, please don't hesitate to call. Everybody should have my number. If not, I'll be glad to give it out, and just look forward to serving with everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Roy. Ms. Bloxham?
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all the city crews who have groomed the boulevards and flower beds and trees to make Minden postcard beautiful for this Easter season. Thanks again to all of the street crews and beautification and recreation, everyone who's worked on this project. They've done an outstanding job.
Thank you, Ms. Bloxham. Mr. Yocum?
First, I want to remind everyone that this month is the Clean Up Minden Initiative. And so if you are looking for volunteer work, whether in your church group or civic group, please contact the city. It's a wonderful time for us to clean up our city. Congratulations again to Mr. Edwards and Mr. Roy for their elected. Mr. Roy, in 1999, I was in the 4th grade.
Showing my age a little bit.
But we have a wonderful city, wonderful community and leaders, and so we're very thankful for that. But I encourage everyone who can to get out and help clean up your neighborhood, your streets, and your areas.
Maybe you're going to hit on those dates, huh?
Yeah, pardon me?
Hit on the dates for the cleanup. I was just going to.
He was trying to steal my thunder. Mr. Edwards, congratulations on being elected. We appreciate the experience you have and the love that you show for Minden, and I look forward to serving with you for the next 2 years. Mr. Roy, I appreciate you serving. I appreciate the experience that you brought back to us, and I look forward to serving with you for 2 years. Clean Up Minden campaign, as most of y'all know, that's April the 12th through the 17th. You can actually pick up any of those days, or you can divide it in two and pick up. I think most of our committees will be picking up on the 17th. We have most of all of our districts covered and everything. We're still looking for a few chair people in several areas. So it's not too late to sign up. We will have our final get-together and our kickoff party this Thursday at 5:30 at the community house. That's when we'll pass out trash bags and all that type of stuff. But we have many churches and civic organizations and several of the city council members. But we need to stay focused, not just this 1 week, but we need to keep all of our trash in our vehicles, year round. Minden's a beautiful city, and we don't get that second opportunity when a new business is coming to town or a manufacturing company. We only get, one shot at it. So we appreciate all the volunteers that have stepped up for that. We still have Grilling on Main. Grilling on Main will be June the 11th and the 12th. So if you're interested in that, you can go out to Main, their Facebook page, and get applications for that as well. Let me remind you, we are still on an abbreviated phase 3 governor's mandate. He still encourages everybody to wear masks. He still encourages everybody to wash hands. There's so many places in town, just about everybody has the opportunity that wants to take the vaccine to take it. I would encourage you to do that. We want to keep all of our citizens healthy, and the sooner that we can get everybody in our state healthy, then we can lose the mask. But until then, I would like to ask everybody to stay safe out in the community, and we appreciate everybody coming tonight. Meeting adjourned.